The Last Voyage of the Demeter is the new film from Andre Øvredal, who rose to prominence with his Norwegian fantasy film Trollhunter. Since then, he's made films in the States with mixed results. He's a filmmaker who enjoys catering to different demographics, including making some fun PG-13 horror films younger teens can watch to get into the genre. The Last Voyage of the Demeter is an unfortunate fumble for the filmmaker. A great idea on paper, but too many issues in the creation and execution of this film prevent this from being anything more than something most will see on streaming and forget about soon after it's over. The story is inspired by a single chapter in Bram Stoker's Dracula, where the titular vampire travels from Romania to England. In the novel, the events of the Demeter are told by way of the captain's log, where it becomes apparent something evil is killing the crew on the ship one by one. While the story is thin, it serves as a strong spine to make a fun movie. You can't help but wish the muscle and flesh of this film weren't so weak while watching. In conjunction with the release of this film, the single chapter of Dracula was sold on its own, a marketing tactic as short-minded and misguided as the film itself. Not all is lost when it comes to this film. The set design of the ship is impressive and nice to look at. The well-worn boards and cracked figurehead that rests at the front of the ship enhance the film's tone. The layout of the ship never really fits together, but it's never distracting and none of the spaces feel too large for reality, which has been a problem for some movies lately. Øvredal has described the film as Alien on a boat, and that's a fitting description. The overall tone is kept well through the cinematography and sets. There's always a feeling of dread while we spend our time with this doomed crew. The design of Dracula was very nice as well, inspired by the haunting look of Count Orlok in the German expressionist classic Nosferatu. For a film of this budget, we also had some good special effects where they count. Exteriors on the ship deck looked clean thanks to well-lit and framed shots, though some more wide shots of the ship at sea were slightly troubling. The biggest fault of The Last Voyage of the Demeter sits in the hands of the film's producers, who no doubt had many notes for the director, and unfortunately, too many of these notes were taken seriously. The film begins with a title card explaining that the ship arrives in England with the crew missing and only the captain's log to explain the mystery of what happened. Then we have the opening scene, which shows what we were just told, and 5 minutes in, we are being given the same information we already know, and the film has somehow screeched to a halt before even beginning. The screenplay does not get any better from there. The film is written by Bragi F. Schutt and Zach Olkiewicz, the former known for the film Escape Room, and the latter Bullet Train and one of the Fear Street films. It's important to note in the writing credits, the word "and" is used instead of an ampersand. The difference is important. An ampersand indicates a writing team, while the word "and" shows that a writer was brought in after the first draft of the screenplay was completed. Why this is so important to mention is because the film's screenplay so strongly feels like two different people's ideas, where neither took the other's notes or intentions into consideration while writing. Plot points are forgotten about, character motivations ping-pong back and forth, half-baked ideas appear only to be abandoned by the next scene. It leads to a frustrating viewing experience. The film is filled with talent who are all trying to make the best out of the material through their borderline satirical accents. Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones and Hunger is forced into some hammy situations by the climax of this film. Corey Hawkins from In the Heights and Macbeth has been having a few good years lately, and he can handle being a leading man, but he deserves more substance than this film can provide. Aisling Franciosi, who delivers one of the most gut-wrenching performances you could see in The Nightingale, sloshes through a troubling Romanian accent to deliver half expositions that barely help the film move along. In fact, most of the film's accents feel like they're making fun of rather than being authentic to their characters. All involved deserve and are capable of doing better work. One of the film's biggest victims is the character of Dracula himself. The film's dueling writers don't seem to know how they want Dracula portrayed. One wants to depict him as a predatory monster that screeches and tears people to a bloody mess, while the other writer wants to give him some smarts and even has him talk at times, though it's also depicted like Dracula is just learning his first words. It's a tug of war between playing homage to the original character and attempting to try something new, and unfortunately, like most of this film, it falls somewhere in between in an ether of mediocrity.